Excellent. I think we are live now. I can see people are joining, which is amazing. Hello, everyone. Greetings from sunny and very hot UK. Thank you for joining us today for a webinar. My name is Gina Weatherill, and I'm the Director of Recruitment within Global University Systems in Uni UK division, overseeing students recruitment for a number of our UK partner universities. And today I'm extremely excited to talk about one of our premium partner university, University of Gloucestershire. So we will be covering a few items today on pre-departure, including accommodation, compliance, also a few main items you would mainly need to know about your CAS and section. You will also be able to hear from one of the University of Gloucestershire students as well. Just a few housekeeping rules, I guess, before we start and I make some introductions. You're all on mute. If you do have any questions, feel free to raise them within the Q&A section rather than the chat section, please. So we will take them from there at a later stage of the webinar. Other than that, sit back and enjoy, and I hope you find the webinar extremely useful and inspiring. And I'm extremely excited today to be joined by colleagues from the university. So we have Carla, Matt, Sharon, Susanna, and the student from the University of Gloucestershire, Sanskriti. I'm also joined by my colleagues from GAS in Uni as well, Kasha and Anand. Thank you everyone for joining our webinar today. And I'm going to pass it on to Carla to start the session and to share your screen, please. Thank you.
Thanks, Gina, for that introduction. We're really pleased to see so many of you joining our session this morning or this afternoon, wherever you are. We hope you find it really informative. We're really pleased to be working with Gus in Uni and having a fantastic relationship with Gus. So we will be presenting a few slides to you over the course of the next 40 minutes or so. Please ask any questions you like at the end of the session, and we'll certainly try and help answer as many of your questions as we can. I work in the International Marketing and Student Recruitment team, and I'm the Regional Manager for South Asia, so working very closely with Kasha, Gina, and Ananth. And I'll just try and share my screen. So if you bear with me one moment. Can you see my screen there? You can, great.
Yes,
okay,
perfect.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Lovely, thank you. So just a quick recap here for you. I think probably most of you are aware of where the University of Gloucestershire is located. But as you can see here, we're in the west of England, very conveniently located near to other main cities and conurbations such as Birmingham and Bristol and Cardiff. We have two campuses in Cheltenham and one campus in Gloucester. And we are around 2 hours from London and around between 40 minutes and an hour from some of the other main cities like Bristol and Birmingham and Oxford. So very conveniently located in the UK. Some of you may also be aware as well that the area where we're based is called the Cotswolds. This is a really beautiful part of the UK. I'm a little bit biased because I am originally from Cheltenham myself, but I have lived around the UK in my time with various jobs, but chose to come back and live here with my family about 10 years ago. So as you can see here, the Cotswolds is a fantastic, beautiful area, very sort of traditionally sort of English, as you might think, in some ways, with beautiful villages, sort of honey-coloured stone, but really beautiful landscape as well. For example, here you can see Cleve Hill, which is just out on the outskirts of Cheltenham, Sudeley Castle. As you can see, lots of sort of heritage buildings around in the area. So a fantastic area for you to explore once you're here in the UK, and many of our students do that, and we organise trips for students to make it very accessible for them to be able to have a look around and explore places nearby. Gloucestershire itself is quite a large county. The main cities and towns are Cheltenham and Gloucester. They're about 9 miles apart. As you can see here from some of the images, we have Gloucester Docks there, which is a really fantastic area for socialising, for sort of doing sport, eating, bars, restaurants and things like that. And that's very near some of our student accommodation in the city. We also, in the bottom right, you can see Pittville Pump Room, which is in Cheltenham, very near to our Pittville student village. And you can see from there an example of some of the beautiful Regency architecture that you see all across Cheltenham. On the bottom left there, you can see part of Gloucester Cathedral, which is a really fantastic, beautiful building in the centre of Gloucester. The city of Gloucester itself has a very rich history, as well as Cheltenham, dating right back to Roman times. So really beautiful area for you to explore. We have lots of cultural events going on throughout the year. Cheltenham itself has around 50 or so different festivals taking place each year. Those can be sporting festivals, music festivals, science festivals, and many of our students actually help out at those festivals, either volunteering or with paid employment. So yes, a great sort of area for you to come and live in, with a fantastic quality of life there as well. Okay, so just to summarise about the different campuses, as I said, we have 3 campuses. I'm just going to quickly shoot through which campus you might be based on, depending on which course you are studying. So this is Francis Close Hall and Hardwick campus in Cheltenham. And for those of you who are studying within the School of Art and Design, who might be doing, for example, some of the architecture, fine art, landscape architecture, photography programs, you would be based on this campus. Also, some of you who may be doing humanities or natural and social sciences, so for example, biomedical sciences, geography, psychology, those courses are all based at the Francis Close Hall campus. Our other campus in Cheltenham is called the Park campus, a beautiful campus sort of set around a lake, so really beautiful landscaping on this campus, and we have a number of different courses and schools based here. So for those of you who might be studying design courses, for example, fashion design, graphic design, interior design, you would be based at this campus in Cheltenham. Also, our School of Computing and Engineering is based on this campus. So I think quite a few of you might be doing a Master's in Engineering Management or Cyber Security. That would be based here too. And for any of you doing courses within our School of Creative Industries, for example, film, production, animation, journalism, you too would also be on this campus in Cheltenham. Okay, and then finally, our third campus is Oxstalls, and that is the campus in Gloucester. As I said, it's about 9 miles away from Cheltenham, very easy to reach. We have a very regular bus service between the two cities. Courses here will be all of our business and management programs are based here in the business school, as well as any courses around sports and exercise science. So for example, sports management, sports coaching. All of our health and social care programs are here too. So any of you who might be doing courses within that school, health and social care, and any courses in hospitality and events are also based on this campus. As you can see, each of the campuses look quite different. They're very much a kind of have their own community and sort of different vibe and feel, and all of them really sort of attractive in their own different ways. I'm just going to pass over to my colleague Matt now, who's going to give you a bit of information around immigration and visas. Thanks, Matt.
Great, thank you, Carla, and it's great to join so many people here this morning or this afternoon. So my name's Matt. I work for the university in the immigration team, so I'll be supporting you all through this current process, along with your agent, of applying for your CAS, applying for your visa, and then starting at the university. I also look after student advice, international student advice. So when you're here as a current student, if you've got any queries around signposting you to other parts of the university for support with housing or finance or welfare, or mental health, whatever it might be, I can help you with that. But just to go through a few things from an immigration and visas perspective, in terms of the confirmation of acceptance for studies, so that all important CAS document that you'll need ahead of applying for your visa application. So important to bear in mind, the CAS request deadline is the 15th of August. There's currently no priority or super priority service. We hope that may reopen later on. But at the moment, we do work towards that 15th of August as the absolute deadline. So by that point in time, your agent must have received your CAS request form. Double check when you're filling the form in that you're completing all appropriate questions. Sometimes we get the odd question being missed. So do work through the form quite diligently. Make sure you answer everything that's required and don't forget to sign it. So we'll need the CAS request form, a copy of your passport if you haven't already included that on the applicant portal when you've made your application, and your financial documentation as well. So just to clarify what we need in terms of financial documents, we'll need a bank statement or equivalent that highlights you've been holding the appropriate level of funds for 28 consecutive days. The end date of that period must be within 31 days of your subsequent visa application. So if you do have any queries on that, we can certainly help you clarify what you might need to be showing, but we can't process or finally process the CAS until we've received all of those elements and the advanced tuition fee payment, and indeed your suitability interview as well, which your agents will support you with. So feel free to submit any of those bits in advance, but we won't be able to issue the CAS until we've received all those elements. There's no distance learning concession this year. We're touch wood. Hopefully, the pandemic is now manageable. So we're sort of living with COVID as it's identified in the UK. So in terms of the dates that you'd need to be here at the university, so on your CAS, it will identify the 10th of September as the arrivals date. That's in a view to the induction week following starting the following Monday. So from the 12th of September, there's a week's period of induction, and that will take you through to first teaching on the course of the 19th of September. So this is why we put the CAS deadline where it is, because this hopefully allows you to get your CAS issued, apply for your visa, get your visa, and then arrive in the UK in time for induction week. It's really important that you try to get here for induction. It does really sort of give you a heads up on the course and life at the university, and it will make sure that you're aware of everything that you might need to know to support you in your studies at the university. We'll be sending out an arrivals survey later on in the next few weeks. So look out for an email from us headed arrival survey. We are providing some transport from various airport hubs in the UK. The arrival survey will clarify what those are and what the times are. So when you're filling in the arrival survey, make sure that you let us know when you're arriving, into which airports, and your UK address. It might be that you're at the moment only considering a temporary address. It might be that you want to look at a temporary address, and then once you've arrived into the UK, look at something more permanent. So just make sure that we have whatever address or addresses you currently know in the UK. Great, thank you, Carla. Next slide. So once you've arrived at the university, hopefully in time for that induction week, the first thing that we'll do in induction week is document checking. So this is quite an important event for you as an international student. So on the Monday of induction week, so the 12th of September, we'll be holding a document checking event at Oxtall's campus. And on the 14th, the Wednesday of Induction Week, we'll be holding a similar event at our Park campus. So document checking really allows us to just verify your academic and English language documentation that we've evidenced on your CAS form. We'll verify your passport and your entry stamp as well. And at that time, we can give you your BRP card. So if you are, when you apply for your visa, if you're nominating the university as the collection point for your BRP card, we'll be able to give you your BRP card at that point. Also BRP cards for any dependents you may have. So you've got two options when you fill in your visa application. You can opt to collect it from the university, or you can collect it from the post office in Gloucester. So if you're going to be, as a student, if you're studying in Gloucester or living in Gloucester, you may opt to collect your BRP card from Gloucester. But if you're in Cheltenham, it's probably easier to nominate the university. You can nominate the university in any case, and then we will let you have the BRP card once we've gone through document checking. Collecting your BRP card and going through document checking then allows you to enroll online, and that really then is when you've got that confirmation that you are a student at the University of Gloucestershire. That enables you to do various other things. One of those would be to open a UK bank account, and at the document checking events, we're hoping to have representation from various banks as well, so you might be able to talk to them about opening an international student bank account. You'll also be able to register with a local GP. So we have a GP on campus at the Park campus, and then there's one just over the road at the university in Gloucester as well. So there are doctors, GPs available very close to where you're studying. And in terms of what you might want to do to supplement your finances whilst you're here, so you probably all know that as a student on a student visa, you are permitted to work whilst you're studying. So just to clarify what the eligibility is, so whilst you're studying, so while you're deemed to be in the academic term, you're able to work part-time up to a maximum of 20 hours per week. Undergraduate students are able to work full-time during the official university breaks of Easter, Christmas, and over the summer. If you're a postgraduate student, because you're deemed to be conducting some research or working towards your dissertation during the summer, you'd be able to work full-time, so in excess of those 20 hours per week, just during the Easter and Christmas breaks. Once you've finished your course, so after you've reached the end date of your CAS, you'll note when you get your visa that you have 4 additional months on the end of your visa. So your course might finish in September, but your visa will go through to the end of January. That 4 months is deemed a wrap-up period. You might have supplementary academic activities to undertake, but it might be that you're using that period. You might want to work after the end date of your CAS before your visa expires. You might be wanting to apply for the graduate visa. So just to clarify what the graduate visa is, probably a little bit ahead of time, but once you've successfully completed your course, as identified on your CAS, you will be able to apply for a graduate visa. It's unsponsored, so you don't go through the same CAS process with the university. You're applying directly to UKVI. And it entitles, once you've been granted a graduate visa, it entitles you to stay in the UK for another 2 years if you're an undergrad or postgraduate student, or if you studied a doctorate, you'd be able to remain in the UK for 3 years. And it entitles you to stay in the UK and look for work or work full-time. Thank you, Carla. And just one final piece of advice from me. So to support your time at the university, you'll get lots of information. There'll be lots of updates, lots of news thrown at you. We do hope we make it fairly intuitive where to get that information. There are lots of teams around the university who will support you. We have the central hub face-to-face support at a help zone at each university campus. So each campus will have a number of staff who will be able to support any query you have, and if necessary, they'll signpost you to the person that might be most apt to support you specifically. But we also have an app, and you can access it from your browser as well, called MyGloss. So it's the tool that you will use to keep in touch with everything about the university, full of information as an international student about arrivals, enrollment, induction. And it's the portal where you'll be able to see all your course information as well. You'll be able to access Moodle, your email calendars, reading lists, all that sort of information. It will also signpost you to specific areas of the university and to teams that might be able to support you in the manner that you need. So keep in touch with MyGloss. It'll be certainly a resource that you'll use throughout your time at the university. And that's it for me. I'll be happy to join in the Q&A at the end of the session. Thank you, Carl.
Thanks so much, Matt. That's great, really useful information. I thought I'd just take the opportunity as well for this session to reiterate some of the key information you need to know around the tuition fees. So you should, within your offer letter, have had the tuition fee amount within that offer letter. So basically all of our bachelor, undergraduate programmes, the tuition fees are £15,000 per year. Our master's courses, the majority are also £15,000 for the course. Some of the programmes are a bit higher at £15,625. And research programmes generally for PhD are around £10,000 per year. In terms of what we expect students to pay to the university, I'm sure you're all aware, and as Matt said, the £3,000 you need to pay as an advanced tuition fee payment for your CAS request. So that needs to be paid to us around the time of you submitting your CAS request form to the immigration team. Then once you've done that, you have the choice really of whether you want to then pay the rest of the annual tuition fee in full, which you can do at enrolment. If you do that and you pay the full fee, the full annual tuition fee at enrolment, you can then qualify for a £500 early payment, early bird sort of discount fee, which would be taken off that tuition fee. But you don't have to pay it all in full at enrolment. You also have the choice of paying 50% of the balance of your fees at enrolment, and then the remaining 50% at the beginning of semester 2 in January. There's more information about how you can make payment to us. Essentially, it's via Western Union or via a debit or credit card. The website here at the bottom of the page, if you click onto that, that has detailed instructions on how you can make your payments to us, to the university. Any questions around this we can absolutely take at the end of the session. Right, I'm just going to move on to my colleague Sharon now from the Accommodation Office, and she's going to give you some really important and useful information around accommodation. Thanks, Sharon.
Thanks, Carla. Hi, my name's Sharon Joins, and I'm a housing support advisor at the university. Primarily, my job is helping students that go into private housing, helping them find that housing, and then also helping them when they're living there with their landlords, other tenants, any problems they may have. And that's mainly what my job is. But also today I'm aware that some of you may have some questions about halls of residence, and I will try and answer them the best I can, but if I can't, I may have to speak to my halls team colleagues. Okay. Carla, can I have the first slide, please? So as you can see, the first thing on the slide is halls of residence. For those that are thinking about applying for halls of residence, we have a deadline now of the 8th of August for guaranteed halls. You may not get your first choice, but you will be guaranteed a halls of residence. Once you apply, as it says, you have 7 days to pay that. You have a £200 payment, and you can pay that through your accommodation portal. That keeps the room for you. What I would say, if any of you are having any problems paying it, or any of you have some delays for any reason, just let the accommodation team know. We're pretty good in kind of like just making notes and coming back to you. So just make us aware. As long as you communicate with us, that's the best thing. A halls contract, as you can see by the slide, lasts for 40 weeks of the year. So you can stay there from September to the following June. So that means all the holidays that we have. So, you know, if you're not going home and you want to stay there, you can do that and keep your belongings there. We have residential support advisors that look after all our students in halls of residence, and you will meet them when you come. Like I said, I deal with the housing side of it, and we run an approved housing list through StudentPad, which you can see the website on there, www.gloucesterstudentpad.com. All properties on that list are registered with us, they are inspected, they have to come up to certain health and safety criteria. As regarding the aesthetics of a property, we can only advise the landlord, but as long as it meets all our health and safety side, we will register it and advertise. There's quite a lot of accommodation on the website at the moment, a lot of student accommodation in Cheltenham. Not so much in Gloucester. We are building that up. We are getting more, and still still landlords are registering with us. So if there isn't anything there you see, please do contact us. Just want to make everybody aware that if you are going to go into a house, you will be entering into a legally binding tenancy agreement. In housing, unlike halls, it's anything from 40 to 52 weeks of the year. So if you're not going to be here for 52 weeks of the year, don't sign a tenancy agreement, because you won't be able to get out of it unless you find a replacement. And as the year goes on, that's quite hard to do because there's not so much accommodation. Most of our landlords will require a UK-based guarantor. I know that can be quite hard for international students. There are companies out there that provide this service. We don't have any affiliation to any of them, but we can happily give you information, but you can find them yourselves on the website as well. You will also, in some cases, they may ask for rent in advance, but if they are registered with us and you are having any problems with a landlord in a house that you see that you like, just contact us and we'll be happy to mediate between the landlord. We can't say that we're, make it happen, but we're happy to advise for you. Next slide, please, Carla. Thank you. Okay. One of the things I want to talk about, what I want you all to look at is our website. In the last few weeks, we've added a couple of points for international students, one for international students and one for international students with families. We are getting a lot of requests from international students saying they're coming with their families and do we have any accommodation? Unfortunately, the University of Gloucestershire does not provide family accommodation. The housing that is on the site that I've just said, StudentPad, is mainly sharing with other students 3 bedrooms upwards. We don't have accommodation for you. Again, we can give you advice, we can give you information to look for that accommodation. If that was someone like that with a family, we would try and advise them not to come with their family until they've secured accommodation. We would advise that the student come on their own and find some form of temporary accommodation, and look at the areas, look at the type of housing. If you've got a family, you've got children, you've got to look at the schools, etc. So we would definitely advise, do not enter into a contract. Look for some form of temporary accommodation, come and view it, come and look at the area, get to know it. And then if you want to bring your family with you, you can do that. On the slide there, you can see that there are prices for a family accommodation in Cheltenham and Gloucester at the moment. And they range from 1 bedroom 600 to 900, 2 bedrooms 700 to 900, 3 bedroom 800 to 1200, and 4 bedroom 1000 to 1800. What I would say as well, at the moment, unlike our student accommodation where we have lots of it on our site, family accommodation is at a premium at the moment in Cheltenham and Gloucester and many towns and cities in the UK. I have spoken to a lot of local agents myself. and they have told me unless you have a guarantor and you have the deposit or rent in advance and references perhaps, you won't even get to the viewing stage. And they are having over 100 people for each property that's advertised at the moment. So you need to be aware of that situation. What I would say is you contact the landlords direct. This accommodation isn't managed by the University of Gloucestershire. The details of the landlords are on there. And like I said, there's a lot of accommodation. So we would advise you to contact a few landlords. Obviously, being an international student, you're not here. So like I said, we would try to get you to go into temporary accommodation first and then find something while you get here. And don't worry, there is so much out there that you will find something when you get here. But like I said, what we wouldn't want you to do is enter into a contract and then you can't get out of it. Landlords won't release you. Yeah, that's about it really. We're here if you have any questions. I'm happy to answer them at the end. Okay.
Thanks, Sharon. That's fantastic. Thank you very much. Really useful information. We can take some questions at the end. I've just put a slide up here just as a reminder for students to show you how you can get from the airports to the campus. As Matt mentioned earlier, we're hoping to perhaps provide some transportation for students from main airports, but we are waiting to have those details confirmed. But in the meantime, you can see here the National Rail website, National Express for coach transport. It's very easy to get from Heathrow Airport and Birmingham International Airport and Gatwick Airport to the university. So there are just some useful websites there for you. Okay, I'm going to hand over to my colleague Susanna Franklin now, who's going to give you some information around student services and how we have lots of staff here at the university to help our students with any questions or any help that they might need whilst they're here on their course. Thanks, Susanna.
Thank you, Carla. Thank you for having me. Hello, everyone. Over 20 years ago, I was in the same place as you are now, very much looking forward to coming to study in the UK. So I'm very excited for you. And I hope this is a brilliant experience for you as it's been for me as well. What I didn't know before I came to the UK is that every university has got a student services team. So you're definitely not alone when you get to university, and any support or help that you need. I know you've already been hearing from my colleagues in accommodation and in the immigration team, but we do have a really good support network at the University of Gloucestershire within student services. And that covers anything from money advice to support students who might be finding themselves in financial hardship, to supporting students that have got a disability or a learning difficulty, or perhaps a chronic health condition. If that is something that you struggle with, please do get in touch with our disability team as soon as you get to the UK. Matt has already mentioned we've got a GP surgery within the Park campus, but also one right outside the Oxtal campus, where again you would be able to register with a GP if you need it, if you have any health issues and you need to see a doctor. We also provide help to students with childcare issues. I know Sharon has mentioned, for those of you who may be thinking about bringing your family to the UK, childcare could be an issue, finding a nursery or a school. So again, if you have any questions about that, we have a team dedicated to help you with that. I'll skip accommodation because I know Sharon has already gone into the detail about it. but I'm part of a team called the Wellbeing Team, and we support students, any student, regardless of their nationality. We support them with whatever it's going on for them. We've got a counselling team offering therapy to students, short-term therapy. So if anybody finds themselves in a situation where you know, they are really struggling and they need somebody to talk to, we've got a counselling team. For those students with mental health conditions, struggling with anxiety or depression, again, we've got a specialist team that can put arrangements in place to help you with your studies. So that could be extensions on your work, or it could be reasonable adjustments. I could talk to you for England about all the stuff that they can do for you. We've also got a chaplaincy team that is very much involved with international students. They organize trips for international students. They organize the International Cafe every other week. And I've been to it to talk to students, and it's a great place. They do, yes, they have people coming to talk to the students, but they also have activities. So it could be, you know, playing table football, or it could be, you know, playing board games, or, you know, having competitions, making hot chocolates, you know. So our chaplaincy team, regardless of your religion or whether you have no religion at all, they are there to support students as well with their pastoral care. For international students, a team that I find particularly useful is the Student Achievement Team. So they deal in particular with assignment writing. So again, you know, you wouldn't be on your own. So if anybody finds that they are struggling to know how to structure an essay, or maybe do their referencing, or choose, you know, the right bibliography to read for a particular module, or prepare for an exam, all of that, we've got a study skills team that can help you with that. And all of these services are free for students, and they are one-to-one as well. So you wouldn't have to worry about being, you know, in a classroom with lots of other people. You can actually book an appointment with somebody, a study skills advisor, and go through your essay with them. We've also got the Future Plan team, and that's a really helpful team if you're thinking about looking for a job. So they help students with things like finding placements or an internship, or getting a job at the end of their degree. You know, if you need some help preparing for an interview or writing your CV, all of that, the Future Plan team is there to help you with that. My role in particular, so I work, I'm the student welfare lead at the university. So like I said, I work with students that have got particular welfare problems. So I've put in my slide the kind of things that I tend to deal with: harassment, bullying, crime, addictions, loss, fear. But I'm always being asked questions that are not necessarily in my job description, but you know, I've been at the university for many, many years. So I'm always here to ask, you know, to answer any questions you've got, or even to point you in the direction of you know, somebody else who may be able to help. Again, I'll stay until the end. So if anybody has got any questions and wants to ask, I'm here. Thank you very much for listening. Thanks, Carla.
Thanks, Susanna. That's really great. Yeah, I would say that the student help zones are a fantastic source of support for our students, and it's great that we have a help zone on each campus. They really are a sort of one-stop shop, really, aren't they, Susanna? So students, if they're really not sure, where do I go? Head for the student help zone, and the colleagues there will be able to point you in the right direction. And your discussions are confidential, so you can really, you know, they really are a listening post for our students, and offer some really great support. Unfortunately, one of our chaplains, Joe Parkin, wasn't able to make it today, but just following on from what Susanna said, we have a fantastic chaplaincy team at the university. You can see on the top right there, photograph of some of the team there. They represent most of the major faiths, but really, their primary sort of function really is to just act as a very welcoming space for all of our students, international and UK students. And we have what we call sanctuary spaces on each campus. You can see on the bottom right here, one of the sanctuary spaces at the Park campus. which is really very much like a home from home, really, with a kitchen, a nice lounge area, prayer facilities there too, and students can just drop in at any time. As Susanna mentioned, the chaplaincy organised lots of events for students. You can see a quote from one of our Malaysian students here as to how she's sort of used the spaces, the sanctuary space, whilst she's been here. And I'm really proud to say that we are ranked, the chaplaincy itself was highlighted as being ranked #1 globally in the recent International Student Barometer, which was a very comprehensive survey of almost 100,000 international students across the world. And really fantastic that our chaplaincy team and their efforts were recognised. So a fantastic support service for all of our students. And just highlighting here some of the events that they have here, like the weekly international cafe, trips that they run as well. So really, really welcoming service for all of our students. Another quick thing just to mention here is that we have a Facebook page as well, which is the official University of Gloucestershire International Student Facebook page. All of our students, international students who have an offer with us are eligible to join this page. Again, it's a great source of getting information on future events, things you need to know. So we post up bits of information on that Facebook page. So we would invite you all to join that page. Okay, I'm now going to hand over to one of our international students, Sanskriti, who, like yourselves, began her application journey with Gus in uni, and she is one of our international scholars. She was awarded one of our international scholarships last year to start her course in January this year, and she's going to just say a few words really about her experiences at the university. So I'll hand over to Sanskriti now.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Carla, for introducing me to the students. I'm here today to share my experience with you all as an international student from India. In January 2022, I began my MBA journey here at the uni. Since then, I have learned a lot about myself and improved significantly as a person. So when I first arrived here, I had to undergo a quarantine because of COVID restrictions. And at that time, I didn't know anyone at all here. Fortunately, the student assistance at the university is outstanding. And because of these support facilities at the uni, I was able to connect with my professors at the business school, my classmates online before starting the session and cope with the isolation period. Then the university experience began for me with the induction week, and where I got to know everyone on campus in person, participated in some of the fresher activities, and made a few friends. So if I talk about the facilities at the uni, every week the university hosts the global cafes where international students can socialize while enjoying delicious hot chocolate, marshmallows, and desserts. And I have attended all of them and made really good friends there. And if I talk about more facilities like health zones, as Susanna mentioned, where awesome people work to help the students for well-being support, including mental health. I have used all these facilities so far. There is a library with the 24/7 access and resources for studying. We have a growth hub in the business school for giving an exposure for practical experience in dealing with real-life businesses and providing support for starting our own venture. In terms of sports facilities, like we have the Your Way program, which includes recreational activities for staying active and socializing. It's a socializing platform to meet new people. In that, I play badminton, do tennis, do yoga, and we recently did a Bollywood dance class to de-stress from the assessment phase. There's a vast range of clubs available to join, like lacrosse, rowing, rugby, football, cricket, and a variety of sports, whichever interests you. And we have societies like Christian Union, Muslim Union, Dame Plus Network, Adventure Society, and many more. So you can join anything which interests you. And recently we started the Global MBA Society. And I mean, it's in progress, and we are working towards doing some events in that. If I talk about the travel to and from the uni, I live in the city center. I use a bicycle, which takes me around 10 to 15 minutes to reach the campus. It helps me stay active. Sometimes I use a bus, which takes me only 5 minutes, or sometimes I prefer walking when we go together in a group of friends. And I stay in the uni accommodation. So all of us really enjoy going to the uni every day, and we really look forward to having classes. And I mean, these days at summer, we literally hang out at the university, hang out at the campus, and do activities like cooking, painting, playing board games at the chaplaincy, as Carla mentioned previously. So recently, we all cooked together the Indian food at the sanctuary in the campus. It is our go-to place where they organize outings for us. We went to a beach in May, and we're going to Cotswold next week, which I'm really looking forward to. Talking about the celebrations and events at the uni, we celebrated Holi in March, which is the Festival of Colors at the Peace Garden. We had International Student Celebration, where you can see the picture from at the slide, where we received awards from the Vice Chancellor of the uni and had an amazing Mexican and Indian food. Then the Student Union conducted a Student Awards Night and Staff Awards to celebrate student and staff success, which was really amazing. So, I mean, it's only been 7 months here and I'm really enjoying my experience. I have made friends from different nationalities like Malaysia, Hong Kong, Philippines, Pakistan, USA, and many more. And I have also learned a few words in different languages, which is very dangerous. Talking about the accommodation and campus facilities, I think that have been covered by all the other teams. And majorly talking about academics, which is the important part at the uni. I am currently in the process of writing my assessments. And since the academic system is different here, the university does provide excellent support through student achievement teams, study skills, and apart from that, we do peer reviews with friends and connect with faculty in case of doubts. They're all really, really helpful. Like any other thing, adapting to change does take time. So it will happen in academics as well, but it's a beautiful change. In the business school, I have participated in various projects and competitions at the uni in the areas of marketing, finance, sports leadership to gain exposure in my coursework, and attended workshops on certain tools like Power BI, Excel to upgrade my skills simultaneously. So these are all the things which are provided within the uni. In terms of jobs, there are plenty of part-time jobs available to sustain the living costs. I am working simultaneously to cover my expenses for my rental and living. Overall, I would really say it's a fantastic experience for me as an international student here. I really feel inclusive by every university member and encouraged for working hard every day. So it's like literally where you feel like you're being taken care of. It's like every university member is very, very kind, caring, and helpful. Every new experience comes with challenges and hard work, and this university's excellent student support services will help you cope with them in a better way. However, once you make that leap, it will be an amazing and unforgettable experience. So I would really wish everyone all the best, and you will never forget this experience once you graduate. Thank you.
Thanks, Sanskriti. That's really, really fantastic to hear your experiences. And I think you've really made the most of your time here in the UK. You've only been here 7 months, but you're a fantastic ambassador and you've really grasped the opportunity that you've had and been a fantastic, fantastic scholar. So hope you carry on enjoying the rest of your course. Thank you. Just finally, before we go on to some questions, just a quick reminder that we have Unibuddy live chat sessions, which we are running 1 tomorrow, 1 next week, and 2 in August. These are great opportunities for any of you to join in, ask questions from colleagues in our support teams. So, for example, the immigration team, finance, accommodation, admissions. They're for 2 hours, the sessions, and you can just register via the link at the bottom of the page there. So just highlighting those for you if you have any outstanding questions. I'm now going to quickly move on to questions, I think, Degina, because I'm aware of the time ticking.
Thank you, Carla, and thank you, everyone. Really useful information. And thank you, Sanskriti, for sharing your experience. I do definitely agree. Students have an amazing experience at the University of Gloucestershire. I was lucky to visit a few months ago as well, and I could see all the happy faces and how included they feel, and the relationship between students and academics, which is amazing. And everyone knows everyone by name, so it makes it just extra, special for students at the university. Okay, so we've received a few questions. Let's just jump into that. I think the first question would be to Matt, please. So if a student applying for a loan sanction letter, which I believe is quite popular in India especially, would it be important to hold the funds for 28 days? Because normally they obviously provide the loan letter, which just demonstrate that the funds are there, they're accessible for students. Would that be sufficient for CAS issuance?
Yeah, it's slightly different with sanctioned loan. So that would be coming through the bank through part of an educational loan scheme. So as long as that documentation is dated within 6 months, it doesn't need to be held in the same way for 28 days. So we would take that on the basis of the documentation that you get from the bank or the educational loan scheme.
Perfect, thank you. That's really helpful. There is also a question from Mehdi in terms of the CAS letter. So obviously students are now very keen to complete all of the documentation and apply for CAS letter, but how long does it normally take for the CAS to be issued once you've received the CAS request?
So at the moment in this peak period of demand, it takes a maximum of 5 working days. So that's on the basis that we've received everything. So if when you submit your CAS request, if there's anything missing, so sometimes it might be missing the financial documents or the passport, or we're waiting for the advanced tuition fee. If there is anything missing, we'll let you know and we'll get back in touch. Once we've got everything, it will take a maximum of 5 working days. Generally, it's a little bit quicker than that. It's around about 2, but at certain points of the year, for example, where we are now at this peak period of demand, it takes about 5, up to 5 days.
Perfect, thank you. And if you could please just reiterate, I know you've mentioned that already, but what are the documents that students need to apply for CAS request? Because I think Mehdi might have missed the first part of the webinar.
Sure. So the CAS request form itself, which you can download from our website at glos.ac.uk/CAS, CAS. So making sure that's filled in correctly and completely and signed and dated. We'll also need a copy of an electronic copy of your passport photo page. And we'll need your financial documentation as well, so evidencing that you've shown that you've held funds for 28 days. On top of that, you need to have made the advanced tuition fee payment of £3,000, a minimum £3,000, and obviously your students' agents, GUS and associate sub-agents, will support them with their suitability interview as well. So once all those bits have been finalised, that's when we can process the CAS within that 5-day window.
Perfect, thank you. And if students are required to submit anything additional once they've obviously requested CAS, would that be communicated directly to them, or what's the best way to approach it?
We would go directly to the student if we'd heard from the student, and we'd also get in touch with their agent as well, Dagina.
Perfect, thank you, Matt. That's helpful. I think you answered some of the questions we also had in terms of the deposit. So just to reiterate to everyone, 3,000 is a minimum CAS deposit for you to be able to request your CAS. You need to ensure you pass suitability interview, which is run by InUniGas, as it was mentioned as well. We do encourage you to complete your interview by the end of this month, ideally the latest. We've put extra support for you as well. We're running some of the interviews this Saturday too. So if you haven't got your slot booked somehow, do reach out to your agency or advisor, so we will try to get you on the standby list and get your slot as soon as possible. And then you would need to ideally pay your deposit by the end of the first week of August, so that we can then finalize everything with you. And you can obviously apply for your CAS and submit your CAS request by the 15th of August, as Matt mentioned earlier, the latest, please. So do ensure you've already started maintaining your funds, so they are mature, so your bank statement is mature by the 15th of August, the very latest. Thank you. And then there were some questions in regards with arrival. What happens if students are so if their visas are delayed, so they're not able to enroll by the end of September. the latest, because obviously the start date is 12th of September, but then there is a bit of time allowed for the latest enrollment. Obviously, we don't encourage students to miss any classes whatsoever or miss any induction, but in case if their visa is delayed, is there any further extension to that, or is it strict deadline?
Well, what I would say in response to that is to keep in touch with us. So if you do feel, so first of all, we put the CAS deadlines in place to give students sufficient opportunity, building in those inherent visa delays at the moment. If you do feel that the visa is going to be delayed and you're going to arrive late into the UK, get in touch with the immigration team. We'll support you through that process. So the 30th of September is the final deadline to arrive and enroll. But as I said, I would keep in touch with us. There's really, it's difficult past that point to engage with the course. That's what we have to be mindful of. If you arrive after the 30th of September, it makes it difficult to engage with the course. But keep in touch and we'll keep you advised on the best course of action.
Absolutely. Thank you, Matt. That's very helpful. So just to reiterate once again, if you do submit your documents by the 15th of August, the very latest for your CAS, you should be able to receive your CAS by the 20th, provided all the documents are obviously in order, and then apply for your visa. You need to allow at least 4 weeks to receive your visa, so that you are on time for your classes and you don't miss any classes, because otherwise it will be challenging for you to cope with the program itself. Okay, right, so there are questions in regards with the amount that students need to demonstrate in their bank account for 28 days. I think that's for Matt again. Sorry, Matt, many questions are compliance related.
Yeah, so students will need to demonstrate in their account for 28 days the outstanding tuition fees. So generally speaking, we talk about a course costing 15,000. They'll have an international bursary award of 3,000, and they'll need to make a minimum advanced tuition fee payment of another 3,000. So that would ordinarily leave them with £9,000. They'll also have to evidence their living costs, which are 9,207, and living costs for any dependents that they might be including on their visa of 6,120. So those two elements, or three elements, I suppose, their outstanding tuition fee, living costs for themselves, and living costs for any dependents, that will need to be held in an account for a consecutive 28-day period. But information on the website as well. Have a look at our website. It will hopefully clarify that.
Perfect, that's helpful. And that's where you can also find the form needed for CAS request, because I can see there are some questions in regards with the CAS request form. So you can just go onto the University of Gloucestershire website and find more information in regards with your CAS request, the funds required, and other useful information as well. So there is a question in regards with the meet and greet program. I assume that starts as soon as the induction starts.
Yeah, so induction week from the 12th of September is really that first opportunity for your course tutors, your academics, the rest of your cohort as well, your course mates, for you to meet. Some faculties, some schools, some courses will also run other meet and greet sessions. The university will have a host of activities as well, organised through Student Union, through schools, through Chaplaincy Team as well. So everything that will sort of form that big sort of meet and greet package, that will be from and through induction week.
Perfect.
I think MyGloss as well is a good source, isn't it, Matt, for keeping up to date, and Susanna, with what's going on within your course induction, but also generally across the university.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So when you start at the university, you have a course induction in the first week. It runs for a whole week, where you can meet your personal tutor, your classmates. There's lots of activities, there's usually a trip somewhere as well. And I would say that's like the crucial time to be here, because like Matt explained, that's when you do your document checking and all the rest, but also that's when you really get to know about the course. You have a tour of the library, you get to know all your tutors, your classes, how things work, you get your timetable. So it's a really important time to be here.
Perfect. Thank you very much. That's helpful. So there are a few questions again in regards with the interview. So just to reiterate, every single student would need to be interviewed. If you're applying for a student visa to come and study in the UK, you will definitely need to go through in uni interview. So if you haven't booked it for any reason, but you received conditional offer letter from the University of Gloucestershire already, do reach out to your agency or your relevant advisor, and we will look into your case specifically. Like I mentioned, we're trying to accommodate the interview request even this coming Saturday, so we can potentially put you on a standby list. Also, if there are any cancellations in case if you can't find a slot for the next 2 weeks or so, but every single student would need to pass the interview before they can progress to the next stage. There are questions in regards with payments. Maybe Carla, if you can just elaborate a little bit on that. Obviously, we already highlighted the minimum deposit amount is 3,000. I think students are asking what are the payment options available.
So yeah, so you can you pay the £3,000 for your CAS. And then the vast majority of international students would also receive our International Grant Award, which is a £3,000 fee discount as well. So by the time the student arrives at the university, typically the balance that they would have to pay is their total tuition fee minus 3,000 for the CAS, minus 3,000 for their International Grant Award. So typically 6,000 has already been paid. So they then have the option of paying the remainder of that amount in full at enrolment, which we do advise, we think is a great thing if students are able to do that, because they would then receive a £500 early bird discount, which I think is applied at the time of enrolment. I am going to double check that though, but I believe that is applied actually at enrolment. So they would basically be paying the full balance minus an additional £500 because they're paying in full. Yeah,
that's
if they
brilliant.
don't want
That's
to pay
great,
in full, that's absolutely fine. Yeah, so they then say, for example, say their balance is £9,000, they can pay it in full, or they can pay 50% of it, so 4,500 at enrolment, and then the remainder in January. I think it's in the first week of January, so they can pay in 2 installments or in 1 installment and receive an early bird discount.
Brilliant. Thank you, Carla. That's a great saving, I think, for students if they do go for the full payment prior to enrollment. Amazing way, I guess, to save a bit of money for students. So that's great. And you can also look into your conditional offer letter. So if you want to see payment options, there are useful links included there as well, so you can look into those. You can pay by card, or many students also use Western Union option, bank transfer. So students do find few options within those links on the payment. So there are questions in regards with COVID restrictions on arrival, if any, because we are pretty much back to normal in the UK, but are there any restrictions that you're aware of at all?
No, there are no COVID restrictions in place. It may be down to the individual to see how they feel comfortable, certainly in terms of travelling to the UK. But there is no UKVI or government enforced COVID restrictions in place. And what I'd suggest is have a look at your airline website as well. They might suggest what they are encouraging rather than enforcing.
Perfect, thank you. That's helpful. Okay, so there is a question again in regards with the cost. So once you've passed your interview, received your unconditional, you paid your £3,000 minimum deposit, and you're ready to apply for CAS, yes, our team will guide you in case if you haven't received the CAS form, or you haven't applied for it, or you're still finding, some questions that you want answers to. Feel free to reach out to our advisors, or again your agency, and they will direct you in obviously in the right direction in terms of the CAS request to submit the form and to submit the documents, so we can progress you to the next CAS stage as well. I'm just mindful of time, but I can see just a few questions, and thank you. I can see the team is also helping to answer those. In regards with airport pickup, is it something that could be included for students? Are there any arrangements, or can they book it with the university directly?
So yes, we are looking at providing some airport pickup, so coach services from the major airports in the UK. Those will be specific airports at specific times. What we will be doing in the arrival surveys that will be going out in the next few weeks, we'll be identifying what those dates are, what those departure points are, and then people will be able to book onto those services.
Brilliant, thank you. That's helpful. And there is a question in regards with Global MBA 2 years program. How many days do students need to attend their classes?
I think Sanskriti maybe might be able to answer that, probably best placed.
So basically, in my first semester, I had 3 days of classes, and I mean, we have 8 modules and dissertation. So it depends on how many modules they have in each semester.
Perfect.
So 3 days.
Thank you.
Yep, 3 days.
Excellent, thank you. That's really helpful. I think we've covered most of questions, but if we missed any of your questions somehow, again, feel free to reach out to our friendly business development team or your advisor, your educational agency, and we will take it from there. Like it was mentioned earlier, just to reiterate, you can still confirm your place at the University of Gloucestershire. If you received your conditional offer letter, go ahead and book your interview. If you haven't done so, if you are struggling to find the slot, again, reach out to your agency or our advisors, and we will look into that and put you on a standby list as well, and make sure you do go through your interview. Do ensure you are well prepared, you attend your booked slot, and you do have your passport ready as well, because unfortunately, if you don't attend the interview, you don't have much time to book another slot at this stage. And then you need to ensure once you've passed your interview, obviously receive your unconditional, you pay your deposit by, like I mentioned, the end of the first week of August, so that you can then submit your CAS request by the 15th of August, the latest. But don't leave it till last minute. As you know, UKVI is extremely busy with processing visa applications, so we really want you to make sure that you allow sufficient time to apply for your visa and to arrive at the university without any delays. I think, Carla, you wanted to add anything?
Just a quick couple of things. Yeah, on that front, I think we would just all reiterate that obviously we do appreciate that things do go wrong through some, often students, not their fault, with UKVI or whatever, but if they can just please keep in touch with the relevant team. So for example, Matt's team, if there are any delays, because we clearly obviously can't help students unless we know what their current situation is. So just keep us informed as much as you can. And then also just to finally give a heads up that we hope to be contacting all of our international offer holders in the next few days to let them know about a special accommodation offer, which will be to allow international students to book accommodation at Oxstalls and Pittville, Student Village in Cheltenham, for a shorter contract of 12 weeks. So we're going to be putting that in writing and sending that out to all of our offer holders in the next few days. The idea behind this is so that students who may not necessarily want to sign a year's contract in halls and may want to go into private housing at some stage can at least apply for one of our halls of residence rooms for 12 weeks, which would then give them the opportunity to search for some good, suitable private accommodation for them. And obviously living in halls for those few weeks would give them a confirmed address. There's some great advantages of living in halls with 24/7 security, Wi-Fi, free Wi-Fi, no utility bills, a student community there ready and waiting for students to make friends. So I just wanted to give a heads up that will be a new offer, special offer that we will be giving to the international students, and details will be coming to them via an e-coms in the next few days. I don't know if Sharon wants to add anything to that. It was just a heads up, really.
Brilliant, thank you, Carla.
I spoke. Oh, hi. sorry, I'm just putting my video on. That what I was saying earlier in my talk, we would really advise international students not to sign tenancy agreements. So that is a very good offer that's going to be put forward. What I would say to anybody, if you have any queries about that though, you send them to the Accommodation Office. So it's accommodation@glos.ac.uk. And they will be able to tell you a little bit more information, but it is something new that's only just come to the table. So you may only, we might have to wait for a little bit of information, but if you do have any queries, please contact us. Okay.
Perfect.
Thanks,
Thank you
Sharon.
very much. And that would be amazing for students, I guess, to receive an additional offer for accommodation and short-term options as well. And again, to reiterate, there is obviously a deadline of 8th of August for you to book your accommodation. The residences are amazing at University of Gloucestershire. The value is great as well. So do book those as soon as possible to avoid disappointment later on. And I think that is pretty much it. I can see a few more questions came up just now. So just to add here, for those applying for MBA, you have two options. So there is a 1-year option, or you have 2 years option, which is the one with the placement. As an international student for going for degree program, whether it's bachelor's or master's degree, you normally do receive part-time work permit as well, 20 hours for a degree program, or if you're coming onto level 3, so it's a level low level, so it's foundation, let's say it's a 10 hours, but most of the students go for degree program and they do receive 20 hours work permit. There is a question from an applicant from Nigeria. Again, reach out to our advisors or agency, please, if you have specific questions, but you can also find more information on the University of Gloucestershire website if you would like to look into the requirements specifically. But other than that, feel free to reach out on your specific case to us, and we will be happy to guide you from there as well. Thank you once again to everyone for joining the webinar. Thank you to our presenters, really useful information. I'm sure students found it very, very helpful. If you are a student applying to the University of Gloucestershire, we really hope you can make it for September. Don't worry too much. I can see a few questions coming through, worried whether they can still make it. You can absolutely make it, but do ensure you do stay in touch with us and inform about your case. You pass your interview, you arrange your deposit and supply your CAS documents by the deadlines we mentioned. And we are sure you're going to make it to the university for this September, and we can't wait to see you there later on this year. Thank you once again to everyone, and have a great rest of the day. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye all. Take care. Bye-bye.
Have a good one.